The platform is coming with an amazing developer portal, and in this video we are going to start by exposing the API securely. So we have this product page service running, and we are going to annotate the service of the product page to tell the platform where to find the OpenAPI doc or Swagger spec. And you can see here we give like a URL for finding this spec, but it can be just a path like /swagger and .yaml. Then in that case we'll just look at this path on the service itself. So I annotate the service, and it's going to automatically create this API doc that is an object that is containing both the spec and the service that provides this spec, right? So you see the service is this product page service in this namespace in cluster 1, and this is the spec itself. Every time the deployment is going to be rolled out, it's going to update this API, because when you restart your pod, that means that potentially you have like a new version of this API. So you can also, you'll see later, you can also create this API doc manually by providing this information instead of having it discovered, which is useful when it's an external service. So we have this API doc discovered, and now we want to expose it. So we just again use like a root table like we've done for all the other application, and we are going to just add this portal metadata, which is not going to be used now, but we are going to take advantage of it a little bit later. And we say we want to expose this API through this prefix API book info, but in reality the backend is expecting API v1 product. So we use this path rewrite to make sure that the backend service is going to receive the request with the right path, and we apply some labels as well because we want to secure the request with API keys, and we want to also apply some rate limiting there, and we want to use like some transformation later based on this API product page, but again it's not really important now. We are going to speak about it in another video. So I apply this root table, and I can now access that API, and right now it's not protected because I didn't create any policies to match these labels. So I can just access the API, and the rewrite is working correctly basically. The next step is starting to secure this communication. So here we create an xdot policy like we did in another video where we were enforcing authentication with OIDC, but in that case we are just enforcing authentication with API keys. And you see we say that the API keys are going to be stored as Kubernetes secrets, and we are going to create a new header called X solo plan from this metadata name that from this metadata that has the name plan in the Kubernetes secret. So if I apply this policy, I'm going to secure the traffic with this API key. I'm going to specify the xdot server I want to use. Again, I just have one xdot server in this environment, and that's what people generally do. And now if I try to access this API like I did before, I'll get like a 401 because the API key has not been sent, right? So I'm not authorized to send this request. So I need to create a secret like we said before with this value API key 1, which is encoded with base 64, right? So that's my key, and you see this plan, and the plan here basically is a base 64 value for gold, and that metadata is going to be extracted by our policy like we have defined here. So we will have this X solo plan header that will be created automatically with the value gold. So I create this environment variable and this secret. And after this, I can send my request, but this time providing the API key. And I think I just missed quotes. And you see it works, right? I have now access again to this API, but securely. As I said, you know, the user one is a gold user. So we are going to create now rate limiting based on this X solo plan. So this X solo plan header has a value gold in my case, right? So we are going to create this descriptor key usage plane based on this header. So let me take this and create a policy so that we say that we want to apply that limit of 5 requests to the users that have this plan gold, but we have different limits for different plans, so it can be very useful to do some billing, right? Instead of doing a billing per request, which is something you can do. We'll speak about monetization in another video. Here you can do a very simple billing, which is you choose your plan. You have different pricing for bronze, silver, and gold, and based on your plan, you can send some requests until you reach a limit, right? And that's quite popular way to do billing in the API world. So you apply this, and then again you group everything together in this rate limit policy, and you say you want to do that after authentication, right? Because you want to take advantage of this X user plan that is created by the X dot policy, and you define your rate limit server. Again, we have only one, and that's what people generally do, but it's flexible. You could have many if you want. And now I can try to send this request 10 times, providing the API key so that my user is correctly authenticated. And I should see some 200 responses at the beginning, and then after 5 requests, I should start to see 429. Right? You can see that, like 5 successful requests, and then I am rate limited.